Hi, I'm Miss Kama. I'm going to read to you today. The name of the book I've chosen is Sing a Whale Song by Tom Chapin and John Forster, illustrated by Jerry Smith. Sing a Whale Song. More than anything else, Timothy Finney loved the sea. Every day after school, he would run down to the dock where he'd play or fish or just sit staring into the lapping blue waves, wondering what was over the edge of the world. "I wish I were out there," Timothy would whisper, "out on the sea. Maybe a pirate ship could appear and lead me to a golden treasure, or a magic seagull could scoop me up and fly me over the 7 seas, or maybe, just maybe, I could become a giant whale and swim down to the deep where the fishes sleep." There's Timothy. Can you see him? One day, Timothy was sitting staring out to sea when he heard a strange singing sound. The sound grew, and suddenly he saw an enormous wave beneath his feet. He looked down, and there, under his toes, was the face of a great humpback whale. Timothy held his breath. "Make a wish," said the whale. "What can I wish for?" asked Timothy. "Anything," the whale replied. "Wish for a pirate ship to lead you to a golden treasure, or for a magic seagull to fly you over the 7 seas, or to become a giant whale," Timothy cried. "That's my wish." The great whale lifted his body out of the water. "Touch my flipper," he whispered. Timothy reached out and touched the smooth, soft skin of the whale. Suddenly, he felt something strange and wonderful happening. He slipped over the side of the dock and into the water, flipping his large gray tail. There's a picture. That's the whale. There's Timothy. Can you imagine? His wish had been granted. He had been turned into a beautiful humpback whale. Timothy dove down deep. Then, with a burst of joy, he raced to the surface and flung his body out of the water in a great whale leap. As he dove again, he heard the other whale speak. "Follow me." Look at this picture. I love this one because you can see Timothy's little red hat now that he's Whale Timothy. Timothy followed his new friend past reefs of coral and wrecks of ancient wooden ships. The light from above was silvery and pale. In all his days of dreaming and wishing, Timothy had never imagined the ocean would be this beautiful. His powerful body cut through the water with ease. It was like swimming through silk and velvet. Timothy and the great whale played tag among the school of fishes. Then they played follow the leader. The whale jumped high, flashing his tail and spouting long streams. When it was Timothy's turn, he tried to jump even higher. The sun warmed his back, and his own spray cooled him again. Timothy and the great whale swam through warm tropical seas and under the cold polar ice cap. Timothy saw fish with golden scales and others that glowed in the dark depths, an underwater rainbow. He saw silly seahorses that made him laugh and long eels that wove themselves through the sea grasses. And when he rose to the surface to breathe, he saw the light of the sun dancing on the water. "Wow," Timothy exclaimed. "This must be the prettiest place on earth." "Yes, but it isn't all like this," said the great whale. "Come with me, Timothy. I'll show you." See it? Can you recognize some of the animals? Timothy and the great whale swam on. Soon they found themselves in another part of the ocean. The silvery light from above had disappeared. Timothy looked up. The shadow of a garbage scow loomed above him. All around it floated empty bottles and plastic bags. The great whale shook his head sadly and swam off. Timothy followed. Later, when Timothy rose to the surface to breathe, he found himself covered with black slime. A huge oil slick coated the water in every direction. Timothy raced off as fast as he could, trying to wash the thick black oil off his skin as he sped through the water. Suddenly he felt something grab at him. He struggled to break free, but a giant, terrible net held him in its grasp. "Help me!" cried Timothy. "Help!" The great whale, who was wise to nets, tore a hole in it and set Timothy free. "But it was so beautiful before," Timothy said, confused and frightened. "What happened? Why are the oceans so full of garbage and oil and giant nets? Is there anything we can do?" "Perhaps," the voice of the great whale floated up to Timothy. "Follow me." It was kind of scary there for a second, wasn't it? But it's okay. Timothy's going to be okay. The whale led Timothy to a small opening in a rocky ledge. When they swam through it, Timothy's eyes grew wide. They had entered a glorious undersea cavern. Gathered there were members of every family that lived in the ocean. Gosh, I love this picture. Can you see it? Do you see all of them? All of our favorite marine creatures. Can you name them? You can pause the video now if you want, just to see them all. Or we can keep going. "Garbage," an oyster was muttering. "They are dumping garbage and sludge into the harbors. It drifts down on us day after day." "We have to do something," a flounder said. "Humans are throwing their waste into the ocean and poisoning life for all of us." "But what can we do?" barked a dogfish. "We must tell people to stop polluting our homes," a great white shark suggested. "After all, the earth is their home too." "But who will carry our message to the people?" wondered the dolphin. "He will," said the great whale, flipping his tail towards Timothy. "He will sing them my songs, the songs of our love for the sea. Perhaps then people will understand." "But I do not know your song," said Timothy. "I will teach it to you," said the whale. And the whale began to sing. He sang the most beautiful song Timothy had ever heard. He sang of his brothers and his sisters who wanted to live in harmony with the creatures of the land. He sang to save the homes of whales and fish, seahorses and snails, animal and people. People like you. And Timothy learned the whale's song. "Now it is time for you to go home," the great whale said to Timothy, "so you can sing my songs to all the people of the world." With a sweep of his tail, the whale lifted Timothy back up onto the dock, and in that moment, Timothy blinked and became a boy again. That night, snug in his bed, Timothy sang the whale song over and over to himself, so he would not forget it. And as soon as he woke up the next day, he began to sing it to everyone he met. People heard the song and liked it, and began to sing it themselves. A song of how wonderful the earth had been and could be again. A song of hope for the planet. A whale song. On the next page, the lyrics to the song. Sing a whale song. I probably shouldn't sing them to you because I'm not a trained musician or a singer. I do like to sing though. So you can find this song recorded by musician Tom Chapin wherever you buy your music. You can find it on YouTube just to hear it, or iTunes, or maybe even your local record store if those still exist. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope you enjoy your Earth Day.